Hi, and welcome to Northwest Brew Talk. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
And this is episode number 24. That's right. Next week is going to be our big episode number 25. I don't know how big it is, but we're going to be debuting at least one new segment, so make sure you tune in next week. Each week, we promote the Washington brewing industry by talking to those people involved and drinking Washington beer. With almost 300 breweries, we try to highlight as many as possible every episode. If you're new to the show, we suggest you check out our back catalog with some great interviews and lots of Washington beer. On today's show, we have an interview with Rooftop Brewing, our brew news and views, and local music from Bloodshot Barrels.
If you have any comments or questions, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at nwbrewtalk and on Facebook at facebook.com/nwbrewtalk. If you like the show and want to support us, why not become a patron? With a donation, we offer everything from a guest hosting on the show to a copy of our upcoming book, Washington Beer. Head over to nwbrewtalk.podbean.com for more details. To start the show, let's open our first beer.
All right. This is Dusty Trail Pale Ale from Amnesia Brewing. If you recall, we reviewed one of their beers a couple months ago, and we thought we'd give them another shot because we think we got a skunked beer last time.
Amnesia Brewing is located in Washgool and celebrated their 10th anniversary last year, so they've been around for quite a while. They serve lunch and dinner and, of course, beer, but they are only open to adults 21 and over.
All right. It has a good smell. Oh, that's very light.
Yes.
That is extremely light yellow. And got a nice head on it.
I can smell it from here. It smells very good.
Very mild.
The Dusty Trail Pale Ale is a single malt, single hop pale. This description's coming right from their website. The simple complexity of Maris Otter malt and Cascade hops exemplifies what we are about, letting the ingredients shine. The color is a golden yellow, clarity clear to slight haze, body medium, aroma floral and citrus with light breadiness. Flavor is light honey maltiness with a crisp citrus hop character, and bitterness is moderate. It has ABV of 5.2% and IBU is 40.
Ah, that is very, very drinkable. That's a nice beer. It has a nice smell to it.
Yeah, I could smell it from over here.
Yeah, as soon as I popped open the can, you could smell some citrus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good beer. I like that.
Good.
All right, I've been waiting for some beer, so I'm going to get that. All right, and now on to our brew news and views.
This weekend, July 10th through 12th, is the Seattle International Beer Festival held at Seattle Center Fisher Pavilion. There will be over 200 beers to sample. For $25, you get 10 tickets and a glass, or for $45, you get 40 tickets and a glass. I would opt for the larger fee as each beer takes a different number of tickets. They also have a beer garden that's only 3 tickets a beer or $3. The nice thing about this is if you have tickets left over, you can return the next day, unless it's Sunday, of course. Buy your tickets early and save $5. The event is not kid-friendly, but pets are allowed. You can also bring your own food in. Not kid-friendly leaves us out of this event, unfortunately. Visit seattlebeerfest.com for more information.
The 10th Annual Finney Neighborhood Association in Seattle hosts a summer beer tasting on July 18th from 4 to 7 p.m. The theme is Beer Oasis, Drafts, Not Drought. 20 local breweries have confirmed, including Aslan, Black Raven, True Brew, Fremont, and Spinnaker Bay, among others. Tickets are $25 for members and $30 for the general public. The Finney Neighborhood is in Seattle, as I already mentioned. Propolis Brewing of Port Townsend is expanding. The brewery is expanding from a 1-barrel system to a 15-barrel system and opening a tasting room in a new location, but still located in Port Townsend. Recent recipients of Washington Beer Awards and a 2014 Great American Beer Festival Award, they are at the point where they cannot keep up with demand. They needed to raise $50,000 for the new tap room, so they used Community Source Capital Campaign to raise $20,000 of the $50,000 needed. Good luck to them.
Big news from one of Seattle's newest breweries. Flying Bike Cooperative Brewery has been licensed to brew beer. Woohoo! Brewmaster Kevin Forum wasted no time and brewed the first batch last week. Located on Greenwood Avenue, the member-owned brewery has brewed 7 Spoke Stout, a recipe from member David Flynn. They also brewed an IPA and plan to have 5 beers on tap when they open their doors. Flying Bike is still trying to raise the final $20,000 to finish the brewery. They're aiming for 1,300 founding members to reach that goal. There's prizes available during this final push with a deadline of July 31st coming up quick. Visit flyingbike.coop for details on how you can support Washington's first cooperative brewery.
Very nice. As the beer competition season is upon us, here is another one. The 2015 United States Beer Open Championship is complete. Held in Oxford, Ohio, this competition saw nearly 4,000 beers entered from 20 countries and 90 different styles. Past grand champions include Deschutes Brewery. Now the number 1 brewery this year was Ballast Point from San Diego. No Washington brewery made the top 10. Not sure how many entered, but we did have some winners. Reuben's Brews from Seattle did win some medals, including a bronze for a classic Irish stout, a silver for Black Imperial IPA. Icicle Brewing from Leavenworth scored a gold medal for their Dark Persuasion, and Pike Brewing from Seattle was awarded 2 medals, a gold for Pike 2010 Old Body Aged Beer, and a bronze for Pike Local Alba in the experimental category. We just talked about that a few weeks ago. Ghostfish Brewing in Seattle also took gold for Vanishing Point Ale in gluten-free. Dee's Wicked Cider from Kennewick took gold for Baked Apple Spiced Cider. Congratulations to everyone! And that is this week's Brew News and Views.
Welcome back to Northwest Brew Talk. If you want to submit news to Northwest Brew Talk, send us an email to nwbrewtalk@gmail.com. Or if you've not yet subscribed to our podcast, what are you waiting for? Do it now. It's free, available anywhere you listen to podcasts, including iTunes, Podbean, and Stitcher. And if you like us, a review or rating would be really appreciated. But make sure to tell your friends about Northwest Brew Talk.
That's right. And we're going to give you a little review of something else this week. When we took a trip down to Yakima in the Yakima Valley, we took a detour down to the American Hop Museum, and that was a very cool place. It's in an old building that they put all kinds of hop apparatus and showed the history of hops and what else did they do in there?
Well, there's a nice little video at the beginning talking about harvesting of hops and where they go and what they do. And
yeah, that's right. That was nice. It was only like an 8-minute video, but it gave you an understanding. I mean, we talk about hops on the show. People talk about hops. You can see pictures of them. But when you see videos of them on how they harvest them and grow them and, what they do to them and package them and pellet them, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Still somewhat labor intensive, too.
Yeah.
And but that and interesting thing to go along with that, the people that actually helped gather some of this stuff had gone out to New York, and that's where they got a lot of this. And you could see some of the equipment they have out in central New York. That's where the hop capital used to be in the 1800s, late 1800s. It was all the hops were grown out there. And then Mr. Carpenter moved to Washington and planted some rootstock, and that's how this all happened out here. But, the museum, if you ever get down in that area, it's only like 10 miles south of Yakima, so it's definitely worth taking a trip to.
Yeah, and $3 admission, I think. So.
Yeah, $3. Children under 5 were free, and, you can spend 45 minutes, an hour in there. Nice little, and the town's an interesting, pretty old-looking town.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean it was like a lot of old buildings. There was like an old train depot across the street. So it was pretty cool. But, that was the Hop Museum. And now we're going to talk to Craig Christian from Rooftop Brewing in Seattle. Craig Christian of Rooftop Brewing. How are you doing today?
Doing fine. How are you?
Awesome. And we are at what is going to be your brewery, right?
That's correct. We're in the middle of construction right now.
So why don't you give us a little background on how you started out and ended up here?
Okay. Well, the history of Rooftop, we started in a little garage as a one-barrel brewery back, I guess the company started in 2012, but we didn't open until June of 2013. There are 5 of us total that started the company, my wife and I, another couple, and a third gentleman. And yeah, we operated for about a year and a half out of that garage, and when our lease came up and they wanted us to renew for a longer period, we decided it was time to make a jump. And so here we are, trying to get a 15-barrel brewery open.
Nice. So you had a garage. You were called Rooftop. So did you have a vision there?
Definitely, it was part of the vision, and the garage space was always meant to be the start of something. Mm-hmm. And at this stage, we're working to make our rooftop tasting garden a reality.
Right. And so it looks like a pretty big area. Do you know how many people you'll be able to get up there?
The idea right now is that each summer we'll expand our deck even more. But right now we will have heated indoor capacity for 49, and then the exterior is going to be another about 500 square feet of rooftop deck. And I don't know what the
Okay. Okay.
Hopefully quite a few.
Yeah, exactly. Very cool. So, what type of experience did you guys have before you started doing this?
Well, the 3 gentlemen involved all were pretty avid home brewers. I worked in a microbrewery back in the 90s for a few years in Eastern Washington that doesn't exist anymore, and kind of learned my craft there, and from there went on to do other things but kept home brewing. And so the friends that I homebrewed with are the ones that we decided we'd give it a shot at a one-barrel level, see how we liked the business, see how our beers were, how people enjoyed our beers, and it just kind of took off. We did as well as we could. We sold every drop of beer we could in our little garage space, only being open 3 days a week. And it was definitely time to expand, and we think that we've got product that people are going to enjoy.
So what types of beer were you guys brewing?
Our initial beer was it's a coffee porter. It's fitting. We're sharing space with Zoka and Ladra coffee roasters in our new location. And honestly, I think a coffee forward beer like that, at least at the time, was really missing in Seattle, which is crazy because it's the land of coffee and beer.
Yeah.
I think that some espresso themed beers have come along since, but I still think that ours is going to be one that defines the genre.
So that's going to be, you're looking at that as like your signature flagship?
Well, you know what? I mean, it's a specialty beer. It's not going to be our top seller.
Right.
IPA and pale ales are going to be top sellers,
Sure.
and I think that we have a really well-balanced IPA. And at our old location, we probably brewed 15 different IPAs, depending on hop availability. But we have one rooftop IPA that we think is a little different than some of the others being offered. It's more of a balanced beer, and it's finished with Simcoe and Amarillos, so it has a nice hoppy finish.
Nice. So are 3 of you all brewers?
We all dabble. I was the primary brewer at our old location, but I certainly had a lot of help in developing recipes and tweaking things around and getting our brew system to the point where we wanted it. Okay.
And did we mention what size you're getting here? What size brewer system are you having
here? It's a 15 barrel.
Okay, 15 barrel. Mm-hmm. And when did you look to be open?
We are hoping to be open by the beginning of summer.
Okay.
So I anticipate that we will have some small events kind of soft openings in June, and hopefully by the end of June be open. We plan to be open 6 days a week.
Now, are there going to be any styles that you haven't done yet that with a bigger system you're going to try?
The thing is, we kept our one barrel system.
Okay.
And so our test batches are all going to be at that size, and that's a lot of what's going to be available here in the tap room.
Okay.
We'll keep tweaking. We're going to do a line of coffee beers. We have a pretty ample supply of coffee in this location, and so we'd like to try to do a number of things with that. And one style that had a bit of a cult following at our old location was our Braggot, which is a beer that is infused with honey. Up to a third of the fermentables are honey. Which, it's a big beer, and we plan on continuing to brew that.
Okay. So all your experiments you're going to have in the tap room then?
The ones that we want to put in the tap room.
The ones that don't get done.
Honestly, I think that having that experience with the one barrel and just brewing a lot of different beers and getting a lot of feedback, we kind of know what we need to do to make a beer the way we want it. Of course, there's always X factors in there, but I'm not too worried about dumping many batches of beer.
That's good.
I think that some of the ones that are more popular we'll tweak around, and then we'll brew with the 15 barrel. But initially, I think we're planning on distributing 3 beers.
Okay. IPA,
coffee porter, and our wheated pale ale that is got a very hoppy finish, which were by far our 3 best sellers at our old location.
These are going to be just keg only?
Initially, yeah. We plan to distribute just around Seattle initially, and within a year, we're hoping that we can look into bottles and cans. But our plan right now is to get to the point where we're doing about 2,000 barrels a year, and at that point, make the decision as to how much we're going to distribute in bottles, cans, that type of thing.
Nice. So, how did you guys fund the new location then?
A variety of ways. Some personal family and friends loans, some redistribution of wealth within our own ownership group, and we are looking to do a Kickstarter still, but that likely will be to make our rooftop deck really outstanding. We'd like to put features in for kids. We'd like to put projector screen TV, that type of thing.
Nice.
And Kickstarter is a great platform for doing something like that. I think our goal, really, our vision is to have a space where the community really feels welcome, and we can do community events. We can have a little stage. We can just have a place that people really want to come and drink beer.
Nice, very cool. So, you mentioned some of the hops. Are there any hops or yeast that you prefer to use?
I think that different beers are stronger with individualized yeast strains. So we use a lot of different yeasts in our one barrel, and our three main beers are all going to use different yeasts.
Oh, okay.
So hops, I think that hops are still, the variety of hops just keeps expanding, and we're not afraid to experiment with that, but at the same time, like a porter, it's not a hoppy beer. So I think you have to look at the beer style and determine what hops are appropriate.
Right. Now, going along with your beers, have you trademarked your names of the beers? Have you had trouble finding names with the number that are available now?
We've trademarked, Rooftop, and we beyond that, we have not trademarked the names of our beers because we are not at the point where we're distributing them. But we've checked out, and I think that we are in good shape with the names of several of our beers, like our Rooftop IPA and our Makeda Coffee Porter, where we're not worried about that at this point, but certainly it's something to think about as we move forward.
Yeah, it seems to be every
At least every month you hear another cease and desist. Just seems to be growing with the number of breweries and the number of beers, and it just multiplies.
Yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie with brewery owners and workers, and sometimes you forget how that it's getting to be a cutthroat business as well.
Right. And speaking of that, in the Ballard area alone, there's like a dozen different breweries. I mean, do you see that as, just more competition, or, how do you think you're going to bring people here that aren't going to one of the other breweries, or
Yeah, I mean, we are not in Ballard, so we're across the bridge.
Right, on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, we're close.
Yeah.
But so I think people who are doing brewery tours will come find us, and they did at our last location.
Okay.
But I think that the Queen Anne community isn't served by a brewery other than us. There's Holy Mountain now in Inner Bay and a couple others in Magnolia, but we alone are serving this area. And like I said, I think we're trying to build a community center for our tap room, and the tap room is it's a portion of our business model.
Right.
Distribution is the other. So yeah, we plan to bring a lot of people into our tap room, but we also plan to get our beers out in the world. That's part of the goal of our 15 barrel.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it makes sense. Be the nice community place where people can come and hang out for a while.
And hopefully, I think there's also a need for good outdoor spaces in Seattle. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of advantages to where I think we're situated, but we're in the corridor to get down to South Lake Union. This is a very high traffic zone. We have parking.
Right.
We're on the bike trail. I'm excited by this location.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like you really found a spot that puts everything together.
I hope so.
And it doesn't hurt to be tied in with coffee, since that seemed to be one of your big things.
Yeah, it was just happenstance, but it's definitely something that we feel is beneficial. I can't wait to smell down there when coffee's roasting and beer's brewing. Yeah. In the warehouse. But we've had a great relationship with Zoka and Ladra, who are both in this building, and I'm looking forward to a line of coffee beers that's really unique.
Yeah. So, going with that, a line of coffee beers, so not just a porter or a stout, but other different...
Yeah, do some interesting hoppy beers with coffee. There's interesting things, different roasts that can add differently to different beers. I think we'll probably experiment quite a bit with how we prepare the coffee, what kind of styles of beers we insert the coffee in, and the methods we use to insert the coffee. So,
is anybody doing anything like that?
There's a beer out of Fort George, Java the Hop, which is an IPA that's got a lot of coffee in it. Mm-hmm. Most of the other beers I've seen have been dark roast beers that kind of they lend themselves to the coffee flavor very well. So, yes and no. There's a few breweries out there that are doing some different things with coffee, but I think we want to really expand that genre quite a bit.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, this is the land of coffee. You would think that there would be more coffee type beers at this point, but
we definitely have a unique partnership.
Yeah,
and I can't legally probably even call it a partnership. We're just an association,
right?
A proximity maybe,
right?
But we're excited to do some experimenting.
Yeah, definitely. So up to this point, what would have been your biggest obstacle? Was it the garage?
Volume was our biggest obstacle, and the garage suited us well for a 1 barrel, but there was no way we were going to be doing more beer than we were. Mm-hmm. But that was the intent there. It really was. It was refining our recipes, getting a name, getting our brand out, and just getting to know people and the industry. Mm-hmm. Because prior to Rooftop starting, none of us really worked in the industry.
Right.
And just based on the success of that little 1 barrel garage space, and how much fun we had doing it. I can't wait to get this guy up and running and see where we can go from here.
So how many barrels were you brewing before?
We were brewing about 12 barrels a month.
Okay. So you were pretty busy.
Yeah, it was at least 3 barrels a week, and all the cleaning was manual, including the fermenters, which that's it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So, do you think that the coffee-infused beers are what is going to set you apart?
I think high-quality beers I think there's a number of people doing high-quality beers, and we plan to be one of them. I don't think that our plan is to be known just for coffee beers. I think our unique tasting room on the rooftop is going to be something that sets us apart in terms of location, and then we just plan to do everything as high quality as we can, and build a following that way. I think our IPA is going to be pretty different than a lot of the lighter-bodied IPAs that we seem to find all over the Northwest right now. We're definitely put a roast into our IPA, and I think that there's a lot of fans of that style out there that are going to enjoy it.
Nice.
Thanks to Craig from Rooftop Brewing for joining us today, hearing about their plans to expand and move into their new location in Queen Anne. Now we'll be right back after a local music break from Bloodshot Barrels.
That was Absentia by Bloodshot Barrels. You can check them out at reverbnation.com/bloodshotbarrelsmusic. If you want to have your music played on Northwest Brew Talk, contact us today. And now let's try another beer.
This time we have Copperline Amber by Backwoods Brewing.
Backwoods Brewing was founded in 2012 by the Waters family and is located in Carson. They are open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner with a great-looking menu, including some interesting pizza options. They're also family-friendly, which is always important to note for families like us.
Yes. This one is definitely a lot darker. Still golden, but a little more on the amber dark side.
A Copperline Amber from their website, a very approachable and refreshing light amber, smooth with spices and orange notes. A good year-round brew. 20 IBUs and 5.5% ABV.
Yes, this is definitely not hoppy at all. It's got a little different flavor, but this is definitely something you can drink. You can probably drink a few of these. It's kind of like the other one. They're both. This one's an ale. The other one was a pale ale, but they're both very mild. So, like you said, the IBUs were low on this one. So,
yeah.
Definitely easier to drink. Something that's probably good to have on a nice hot day, like we've had some. All right. And that brings us to the end of this episode of Northwest Brew Talk.
Make sure that you tune in next week when we chat with Iron Horse Brewery.
That's right. This show was produced and edited by me with engineering help from Michelle Rizzo.
If you want to contact us, you can email us at nwbrewtalk@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 541-595-TALK.
Until next time, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Michelle Rizzo.
Stay hoppy, my friends.